the drive back from vacation and then just realized it wasn't going to work, right? I was going to be in the mountains. I wasn't going to have good reception. And I was too concerned that it would have been too painful for all of you. And I just, yeah. So we didn't do it. So we are back this week. And I took a look at the notes from last week. I've been sitting in a little bit of like what it is we should talk about. Even when I sat and reflected this morning, I know what we're going to do. We are going to talk today after I've looked at the notes and some of the topics last week and, just what's gone on this week. We're going to share why energetic healing is so important to the witch, right? Energetic healing, energetic purges, getting rid of things that, really are not serving us in our energetic selves, and why it's so important. And first, I'm going to explain to you kind of like what this does, right? And I can't help but just be still in awe of the energetic cleanse that happened earlier this week. I lead a program called Illuminate, and every single month we perform an energetic cleanse. It's usually 5 days after our new moon ritual. We do an energetic cleanse. And we do this, and it varies every single month. I've touched on all sorts of different things. One of the months, we actually gave everybody the Reiki level 1 certification, right? Because we'd had enough of these sessions that we'd taught all the material, and I was able to actually, work towards doing the attunement. We've done laughter yoga. We have done sound. And when I sat there this past Tuesday and I was talking with my guides about what we might be able to do, they told me we were going to do a purge and a binge, right? So some of you might be familiar with that term in the reverse, but we were going to do a purge and a binge. So this event has been had me thinking a lot over the course of the last week around really energy cleansing and how important it is. Because this past Tuesdays, I got to read this, because I'm sitting here and I do this work because of this stuff. And I sometimes kind of forget, right? Like how powerful this work is. And, literally we'd left and, let go. And within a matter of, I think, 3 minutes, I usually come into our meetings exhausted, grumpy, upset. And I'm always, by the end, I'm always uplifted and happy and more confident. I got, oh my God, last night was so fucking awesome, right? I can't even believe about last night. And I got these amazing, incredible, testimonies. And I gotta tell you why, like how we did it. So this purge was literally this set timer, and I'm going to explain it later, to like let go. And then the binge was like the receiving of all of this amazing, loving admiration type of sentiments. And if you've never experienced anything like that, I'm going to give you some instructions at the end of this so that you can go out, because my soul, I didn't realize how deeply my soul and my spirit and my energy needed Tuesday. So we're going to talk a little bit more about this before I give you those instructions of why. Why is it so important that as a witch we do this energetic cleansing or this energetic healing on ourselves on a regular basis? And so I'm going to start by kind of sharing, and I don't want to overgeneralize, but, stepping into the world of the witch, stepping into a place that you're embracing witchcraft can either be very playful or very serious. And it can be both too, right? But I'm gonna go, and I'm actually gonna do a little bit of duality here. That playful side is gonna be fun, lackadaisical. It's probably gonna come out more on certain occasions, right? You're gonna be super hyped up around Halloween, maybe around the wheel of the year, the seasons, and the things of that nature. You may find that you do a spell or two, right? You embrace the natural elements. You really love all the witchy woo woo world, right? Like you really are just good, and like it works for you. Like the witch is just this like good kind of piece of your persona, right? This slight, this piece of yourself, right? And then there is that serious side that's going to be here to like do business. Like being a witch isn't just a part of the identity, it is the fucking identity, right? It is like all pieces of embodiment, right? And so typically an individual that's going to step into that serious side of the witch, the serious side of witchcraft, know that they have some very intense healing to do and a greater purpose on the other side of that healing, right? So typically a greater purpose of leveraging and using their own witchcraft and witch superpowers in order to do that, right? And so how would you know, I listed out like you're going to fall in the playful, and there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with this. Like I'm not saying, I'm showing kind of like duality of sides, but I am not, giving opinion or judgment as for one or the other. This is just how it is. So people that are going to step into that serious witch title, they really are embracing the darkness and doing like deep regular shadow work. And I mean deep, right? Shadow work is not going to be all love and light and joy and rainbows. And, it's sometimes skinned knees, begging to release, tears falling. It is sometimes very fucking intense, right? And so you're going to accept that this intensity of work also cannot be done alone. And I don't mean that you've got to join a coven or you've got to go somewhere else, but you are not like hanging out in a dark alley by yourself day in and day out, just doing this deep work. You're not hanging out in your bedroom, just doing this deep work alone. You are literally embracing other people to help you through this journey, because this shit is not easy to do. This can be a witchy community. This can be a spiritual community. This can be a therapist. This can be your best friend that's just really good at listening, right? But if you are a serious witch, you're going to accept that this work can't be done alone, right? Like a little bit more playful. They might just do this hanging out by themselves, right? They must do it every once in a while. They may even, I don't know why my nose itches so horrifically this morning, so I apologize for those that are watching the video. But somebody that is ready to like be serious about this and step into this like very expansive world is going to accept that they cannot do this without help and support. They need the human connection within the world, right? The other thing on this, and I kind of mentioned it, but I'm going to reiterate it again, is your path is called to leverage and do great things with the skills that are associated with witchcraft. Now, I don't mean that you got to like go out and be a professional witch or a psychic or a medium or a healer or anything of that nature, but your role as a mother may rely upon it. Your role as somebody in corporate may need your strong psychic abilities to be able to better, see and understand what's coming down the path in a corporate career, right? All of these things, your path itself has identified some very distinctive purpose for psychic abilities, magical rituals, or healing gifts, right? So, if you're the playful witch, it's going to be really beneficial for you to have some energetic boundaries and to do some protection and know what that means. If you're that serious witch, it just kicked that level up a notch. The necessity to do to understand that deep, intense work comes with responsibilities around your own protection, even the protection of folks that might be connected to you. And I've got some notes here. When you are doing that really deep and intense work, this can leave you open to those like waves of intense emotion, right? And people might even see this as dramatic experiences, right? If you have ever had someone tell you you're too much, do I hate that statement, right? All that means when somebody tells you that you're too much is that they actually have not built the capacity up to live in your presence. That's really, it's on them, not you, just FYI. So some people might see this as very dramatic experiences. Some people may actually see it in experience as chaos because they're not used to like, dipping into this deep please. But, the serious witch versus the playful witch knows that these influctuations are a part of the human experience. And that's part of like embracing the magic. So I do notice that some playful witches will tend to like shy away from some of the deeper, harder work because let's be real, it's uncomfortable and it's scary, right? Because a lot of times people think you have to do it alone. Um, they also know, right, the difference is the seriousness of the energetic boundaries or the cleansing. And I can't emphasize enough one versus the other here. So we are talking about the energetic cleansing as far as the topic here, but right, if you cleanse, if you release and don't put boundaries up, are you not just going to be right back into the same position? Right? So they go hand in hand. So a very serious witch is going to know and understand the necessity around energetic cleansing on a regular basis, as well as setting energetic boundaries. So I told you that I would give you a little bit of tidbit as to what you might be able to do. So if you ever happen to be interested in doing an energetic cleanse yourself, if you want to do that purge and binge, I'm going to give you some really simple instructions. And the number one thing that you're going to start off with is first, find a dear friend that's a fabulous listener, right? Not just any friend. You need to be selective with this individual, right? You need to be selective with this individual. And the reason why I say that is because they need to understand, and you need to have confidence that they understand this, that you are not asking for them to solve any of your problems with what you're doing here, right? They just need to be bearing witness and being an active participant in this energetic cleanse. So first, find that friend. Next, get into, I don't care, you can be virtual, a room, but you're going to get into a space that the two of you can actually talk. You're going to set a timer for 3 to 5 minutes. You may say, like, I'm going to put it at 5 minutes because I got a lot of shit on my mind. I will tell you, when we did it this past week, most folks did not hit three minutes. They were done at about a minute and a half, right? So you can give yourself 5, but I'd say anywhere between 3 to 5 minutes. And you are going to ask them to listen for you to just purge whatever bullshit may be swirling around in your life. None of us really love to be complainers because I'm always a fan of the saying of like a complaint never really gets you anywhere. It doesn't do anything, doesn't solve anything. So I don't want you to think of this as complaining. I want you to think of this as purging those things that have been weighing on your mind. Those things that chatter that's been running through, those things that you haven't expressed to anyone else. A lot of times this is going to be things that are all revolving around kind of grief, right? Anger, sadness, resentment, things of that nature, right? So think about that. So kind of we're this cleansing. So we're going to purge. We're going to let go of all of that bullshit that has been weighing on us. So once you barf all of that out and that timer is done, now it's up to them. This is why the caliber of that friend really matters, because you're going to want to ask them to share with you all of the beautiful, wonderful, amazing things about you that pop into their mind. After they have listened to that purge, all they are expected to reply with is all of the lovely things that should build you back up. Right? You need to make sure and tell them you don't want them to solve your problems. You're not asking for any advice. This is literally the structure of this. They listen and then they take what they have listened to and they reverberate back to you all of the beautiful things about you and what you represent to them. As you do this, I want you just to imagine that you are the cup and the purging releases a big old swampy soup of disgusting energy. And the binging replenishes you with loving, hopeful, light energy. I know it may sound incredibly simple, but thus far, out of the months and months of energetic cleanses that we've done, this past Tuesdays was one of the most potent ones that we've experienced. So if you want to kick it up a notch and you happen to have a number of friends that might be interested in doing this, you could do the same thing that we did. Do it as a circle. Allow everybody 3 to 5 minutes and then go around one by one and everybody shower and allow the other individual to binge on all the beautiful things that you share about them. So, all right. I have no clue. Vox, I don't know if you're actually watching the live feed, if there's any questions or anything like that. You can feel free to, if there is any time, to drop them into the chat or anything like that. And I don't know if we've even got this. I don't. I'll have to see, because there is a way for us to do some chat. So that is it for this week, my dear friends. I hope that this was helpful. And remember, energetic cleanses both include the purging or the releasing as well as the protection right back up. And I hope I've answered and shared with you why it's so important, why it's so critical that as us witches, or any of us really dabbling in this space, do that, especially if you're out there doing the deep, intense work. So with that being said, thank you for joining me again this week. See everyone next. Much love from me to all of you.